Hello and welcome to another video. Now today we're going to make a dish I found in the Immigrant Cookbook, which is a cookbook that was given to me by my former colleagues on the database team at Adjust. I found this great recipe on there for lime chipotle chicken. Now I've modified the recipe a little bit, so it's not quite what's in the cookbook. But I'd strongly recommend that cookbook, get it, take a look at it, make the recipes your own, as I've done here. Now in Mexico you use lime and chili pepper as a great combination for lots of things. As I covered in the mambo ribs recipe discussion, that combination was imported into Africa fairly early on and became the centerpiece of a lot of African cuisine that became the foundation of American barbecue. So this has a lot of interesting connections as far as this particular combination. And here we're going to use smoked chipotles along with lime to produce an absolutely delicious marinade for chicken. So next I'll cover the ingredients, and then from there we'll go and actually make the marinade. Now for the ingredients of the marinade, it's fairly simple. I have 2 or 3 limes, I'm using 3 this time, 1 clove of garlic, some salt, about a teaspoon. I'm using fresh oregano, though you can certainly use dried. I would say if you're using dried, about a teaspoon. And 1 small can of chipotles in adobo. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to make the marinade out of this. We're going to save the adobo sauce, put that aside, because that'll become part of the liquid we'll cook the chicken in. And we'll go ahead and get this marinade started. This is enough for maybe, I would say between 6 and 8 chicken thighs. If you want to do more than that, then maybe you want to double the recipe. We'll also season our chicken thighs, and these are with the skin and bone still in. Well, the skin on and the bone in. We'll season them with salt and pepper, and we'll do that before we add the marinade. And then later I will add the last ingredient, which I'll cover separately. Now the final ingredient here is going to be some chicken broth, and I have about half a bottle here, so that's about 200 milliliters, maybe a cup. I might add less, I might add half that. I haven't decided yet. If I need more, I could thin it out with some water. But this will mix with the adobo sauce to form the overall cooking liquid for the braised chicken. So we add the garlic, some salt. I'm going to take this oregano and just kind of rub it a little bit as I add it. You know what, this is probably more than I need, so I think that's enough. And then I'm going to blend this up, and then I will be right back. So we're ready to add the rest of the ingredients. In practice, that means, I think I forgot to mention that I used some apple cider vinegar. So 1-2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, the lime juice, and then I'm going to fish out all of the chipotles out of here with a fork. And any of the sauce that clings to them, it's fine, but I'm not going to go out of my way to pour the adobo sauce in. The adobo sauce I will reserve, and we'll come back to that tomorrow. We're actually going to let the chicken marinate overnight. So that'll help quite a lot with the flavor. And I think this might be it. That felt like one more. Was it one more? Nope, we're done. All right, so now we just blend this up. And we'll get this really nice red, smooth, really nice red, smooth marinade. There we go. Next up, prepping the chicken. But just in case you want to see, there's the marinade for you. So next we're going to season the chicken with salt and pepper. So just sprinkle a little bit of salt on top. I like to hand grind the pepper, but you don't have to. And we're going to do that with all of these. I think I have 7 here, or maybe just 6. Yeah, it looks like just 6. And when I get done with that, I'll come back and I'll show you how I pack the marinade. Now for packing the marinade, what I usually do is I pour a little bit in the bottom, and then I'm going to put 2 or so thighs, if I'm using a bowl like this, on top of this and rub it around a little bit. Then I'm going to pour just a little bit on top. And then I'll put the next ones kind of like this. Cover these with a bit of marinade. And then the rest just goes straight in. And I will rub it a little bit to make sure they're all in place. Then this will go in the refrigerator overnight, and when we'll come back, these will be ready to cook. Hello, and welcome back. It's been a day. The chicken has been marinating in this wonderful sauce, and now it's time to get going. For today, we just have 4 ingredients. We have the reserved adobo sauce, we have the chicken with the marinade, we have some chicken broth, and just a little cooking oil to fry things with. But really, that's all we have to deal with today. This is going to be pretty easy, pretty great. Let's get going. So the first step is to scrape off as much of this marinade as we can with a nice flexible spatula. And basically this is all going to go, we get all this stuff off, and we're going to set these chicken pieces aside to cook. I'm going to do that with all of these and put them on this plate, and then we'll come back and we'll start cooking. So I have this burner on medium-high. Now I'm going to let the pan, I've chosen a pan that's big enough that I can hopefully cook all of these without crowding the pan. And since this is an enameled pan, when I add the oil isn't so important, but I'm going to let the pan heat up a little bit. If this were a non-stick pan, obviously I would add the oil initially. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to take this adobo sauce that I reserved from yesterday, and I'm going to pour it into the marinade. And I'm going to add to that about, I would say, half a cup or so, I'm eyeballing, of chicken broth. We'll go ahead and stir this up, and this will become the liquid that we will eventually braise the chicken in. This is getting warm, so now I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of oil, and we're going to heat this up until it ripples. Then I'm going to fry these, I'm going to brown the chicken on both sides, and then we'll add the sauce, and cover and cook. So the oil is just starting to ripple, and so you can hear when I put it in, it just starts to hiss a little bit. I'm going to put these in, and I'm going to cook them for maybe 3 or 4 minutes on each side so that they brown. And then I will be back to add the sauce. And so now it's been a couple of minutes. I'm going to, you can see these are brown, and I'm going to leave them with the skin up for the final cooking. Note, we're not cooking them all the way through at this point. We're just searing the outside. At this point, we are going to pour this liquid in. We'll add the lid. We'll turn it down to about medium. We're going to let this cook for about 20 minutes. And then we'll be back to serve. So now it's been 15 or 20 minutes, and you can see that these chicken thighs have shrunk down quite a bit, and that's a good indication that they're cooked through. At this point now we want them cooked through. We're going to take one out, we're going to plate it, and from here then we can go to the taste test. So for this case, I'm just going to put some on a plate with some rice. And for this dish, I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to scoop a little bit of the sauce out and put it on the rice. Now, Mexicans do a bunch of interesting stuff with rice. In this particular dish, I actually like plain rice because it goes very nicely with the sauce. So here this is, and next we will be back for the taste test. And now for the taste test. First I'm going to try some of the rice with this wonderful sauce. That is fantastic. And sourness from the lime, spiciness from the chilies. That's just delicious right there. Next, I'm going to try some of this wonderful chicken. This right there is absolutely freaking delicious. This is just, I can't describe how good this is. This is very easily my favorite chicken dish now. Anyway, if you like seeing more of this content on your feeds or elsewhere, then I would strongly suggest commenting, liking, and subscribing so that YouTube will realize you appreciate this and show you more in your own recommendations. It also helps, of course, my channel be recommended elsewhere as well, but for you, getting you the kinds of recommendations you want is important also. So please consider doing that if you like this sort of content. Secondly, this particular dish came out of a book called the Immigrant Cookbook. As I say, I've made it my own. And so I would strongly recommend that you, if you like this dish particularly, that you may want to check that cookbook out. I will post a link in the description, as well as my own take on that recipe. So this is my own take. It's not the only take that's out there.